The T-34 tank stands as one of the most iconic and influential armored fighting vehicles of World War II. Designed and produced by the Soviet Union, the T-34 combined revolutionary engineering, rugged reliability, and battlefield effectiveness in a way that changed the nature of armored warfare. On the Eastern Front, where the war's largest land battles were fought, the T-34 played a decisive role in the Red Army's ability to halt, resist, and eventually reverse the Nazi invasion. Its impact was so significant that many historians credit the T-34 with being one of the war-winning weapons of the Soviet arsenal. Revolutionary design for total war. Introduced in 1940, the T-34's design was a leap forward in tank technology. At a time when most tanks were slow, lightly armored, or mechanically unreliable, the T-34 offered a balanced combination of firepower, protection, and mobility. Key features. Sloped armor. Its 45 mm, 60 mm thick, sloped armor increased its effective thickness and caused enemy shells to ricochet, offering excellent protection without excessive weight. 76.2 mm gun, later 85 mm. The main gun provided effective firepower against German Panzer III and IV tanks early in the war, and the later T-34-85 variant could challenge heavier opponents like the Panther and Tiger. Diesel engine. The powerful V2 diesel engine was less flammable than gasoline engines and gave the tank superior range and reliability. Wide tracks. Its wide tracks gave it excellent mobility over snow and mud, key for operations in the varied terrain and harsh climate of the Eastern Front. Combat debut and early shock. When Germany invaded the Soviet Union in June 1941, Operation Barbarossa, the Wehrmacht was stunned by the T-34. German anti-tank weapons and standard tank models struggled to penetrate its armor. In battles around Moscow and Kursk, T-34s began to prove their worth. Initially, the Soviets suffered from poor training, inadequate tactics, and a disorganized command structure. However, as the Red Army learned from its early defeats, it began deploying T-34s in massive numbers, supported by better coordination and mechanized infantry. Mass production. Quantity with quality. Soviet industry embraced mass production under extreme wartime pressure. Factories were relocated east of the Ural Mountains to avoid German capture, and workers, many of them women and teenagers, produced tens of thousands of tanks. By the end of the war, over 57,000 T-34s had been produced. This staggering output meant that even when outgunned or out-armored by newer German tanks like the Panther or Tiger, the Soviets could overwhelm the enemy with sheer numbers and tactical mobility. Battlefield performance. The T-34 excelled in both offensive and defensive operations. Its ability to operate in snow, mud, and over rough terrain gave the Soviets a critical edge in maneuver warfare. Key campaigns. Battle of Moscow, 1941. T-34s helped blunt the German advance and held the line in critical areas. Battle of Stalingrad, 1942-43. T-34s were vital in encircling German forces during Operation Uranus. Battle of Kursk, 1943. The largest tank battle in history. Though facing superior German armor, the T-34 played a central role in repelling the Wehrmacht's last major offensive on the Eastern Front. Advanced to Berlin, 1944-45. The upgraded T-34-85S led armored spearheads through Poland, into Germany and into Berlin itself. T-34 of 85. Answering German superiority. By 1943, German heavy tanks like the Panther and Tiger began to outmatch the original T-34 in firepower and armor. In response, the Soviets developed the T-34-85, which featured a more powerful 85 mm gun, capable of penetrating German armor. Thicker frontal armor. A three-man turret crew which improved combat efficiency. While the T-34-85 still wasn't a one-on-one match for a Tiger, it was far more mobile, cheaper to produce and effective in large numbers. Legacy of the T-34. After World War II, the T-34 became a symbol of Soviet military strength and was widely exported to Allied and client states. It served in numerous post-war conflicts, including the Korean War and various wars in the Middle East and Africa. Its legacy is not just military, it also became a symbol of Soviet resilience, ingenuity, and victory over fascism. The Soviet T-34 tank dominated the Eastern Front not just because of its engineering, but because it embodied a wartime strategy of relentless production, adaptability, and massed armored assaults. It proved that in total war, a well-balanced and mass-producible weapon could decisively shape the outcome. The T-34 was not just a tank, it was the steel spearhead of Soviet victory.